What's up, YouTube? I'm back with another video, and don't want to bore you too much with another talking video, because that's what I'm going to be doing. I um, I did a talking video last time, but this is a topic. I'm talking about a slightly different topic. Today I'm going to be talking about cardio, and should you do it? Is it, and specifically cardio in relation to building muscle, because a lot of people have been saying, there's a lot of talking about people saying you should do cardio when you're bulking, and a lot of people say you should not do cardio when you're bulking. So yeah, so I'm just going to kind of clear that up and answer basically any types of questions people would have about cardio, or wondering about cardio and building muscle. Sorry, it took a while in the intro, but okay, so basically the people that say that doing cardio is bad if you're trying to build muscle, the reason for people to say this is because, one, you're not lifting weights. Basically, you need to lift weights to build muscle. It will take away from your lifting weights. It's catabolic, as people say. People often say it burns too many calories, and these are all like types of problems people have with cardio. Now, other people say that basically that it can enhance your muscle recovery, and it helps you like not gain extra body fat on your bulk. But the thing about these is these people are basically, I would say the anti-cardio people are they're making very good points, but they're being a little extreme by saying you shouldn't do cardio if your goal is to build muscle at all. However, the thing about these people saying doing these like cardio sessions help your recovery, or actually not necessarily your recovery, but the issue that I have is when people are talking about how it helps you stay lean on your bulk, because I feel like that is, the thing is, right, if you're bulking, you are eating a certain calorie surplus. So say you're eating at a 300 calorie surplus, or a 500 calorie surplus, or whatever calorie surplus. So the thing is that it doesn't matter how many calories you burn working out. Your calorie surplus is the same. So because that's the surplus you picked. So basically, say you're burning 3,000 calories a day, and your surplus is 500, so you're eating 3,500 calories a day. So if you were to start doing cardio, yes, you would be burning an additional 300 calories, which would prevent you from fat gain, as you could say. However, still be in the surplus to gain, 500 calorie surplus to gain like a pound a week or something, you're gonna need to eat like 3,800 calories to maintain that surplus. So it really, basically, the people saying it makes you stay leaner during your bulk is yes, because they're probably failing to count for those extra calories and actually eat the surplus, or the amount of calories they need to be in their surplus goal. And their goal surplus calories may be too high. That's a whole other thing. But anyway, that's the whole thing people say about it. Now, in my opinion, to say whether you should or should not do cardio, or like is cardio good or bad or whatever during a bulk, or just in general, you gotta be talking about a specific type of cardio, because they're not all the same. So there's basically, I'm going to go over 3 different types of cardio and what these types of cardio are like, and what I think of them in terms of building muscle or whatever. And I have a fairly good experience with this even as a beginner, because some of my beginner mistakes was doing too much cardio and just doing a lot of cardio. So I can explain like how I have some personal experience knowing about these types of cardio. So anyway, the first type of cardio is high intensity steady state cardio. We're talking like our cross country running, fast biking. Um, I guess a better example would be cross country running, but fast biking, jogging, or fast swimming or whatever could count as well. And this types of stuff is that's basically what that kind of cardio is. Low intensity steady state cardio is basically everyday life. It's walking and maybe getting around on bike, like doing some light street biking or something to get around, or walking or whatever. So you practically can't escape doing this, and I don't really technically count this in as your cardio, like the minutes you spend doing cardio, unless you're like 250 pounds or like 300 pounds or something, and then you're pretty big, a lot of weight to move around in that sense. Like for example, some like I've heard of some IFBB pro bodybuilders, dudes are like almost 300 pounds, and they're basically, how am I going to explain this? They're basically just their cardio is walking like 2.5 miles per hour, and they actually get out of breath doing that. Any or like tired from doing that. Anyway, then there's high intensity interval training. Now this type of cardio is when people are doing like those types of like sprint intervals, when they're like, okay, like I'm gonna sprint for like 30 seconds and walk slowly for a minute and then sprint 30 seconds again and repeat this cycle multiple times. And this is kind of like the new like cool cardio. People are like getting obsessed of it and obsessing over it like it's some magical thing. So anyway, I'm going to be going into the in-depth these cardios. So our first type of cardio that I just talked about was high intensity steady state cardio. Now, in my opinion, honestly, it's I would recommend avoiding this type of cardio. I would only recommend ever doing this maybe on your like off day, probably like going like on a fast bike ride or something, like a 40 to 60 minute bike ride, for example, would probably be all right. For example, actually what I do, I like to go on like a 40-minute bike ride on my off days, which is I have 4 days on, 1 day off. That's my workout. So every 5 days is a rest day for me. And then that's the type of cardio, right? That is, and the problem I have with this cardio is, first of all, it puts, especially if you're doing this on foot by running, it puts a lot of pressure on your joints. Now, if you're a teenager like me, it's probably not such a big deal, but for like a lot of adults, it's not. It gets pretty high risk. Now, you could say the same for weight training, but I feel like in my experience with trying to run long distances and stuff, it really is a lot harder than lifting weights in that sense. Especially because it's a much more repetitive movement than lifting weights. Like lifting weights, you're doing this set for like 4 sets. You do the set, you rest. Then next exercise, and you're doing several different exercises. It's not just like run. Now, if you're a marathon runner or just a distance runner and that cross country is your thing or whatever, then go ahead and do that. Just if you're lifting weights like consistently high intensity and regularly, you are going to want to do a different type of cardio or not do any cardio at all. Okay, so the low intensity steady state cardio I kind of mentioned. This is basically everyday life. I would say, basically, if you're cutting or trying to reap the calorie burning benefits of cardio, I would recommend just doing extra amounts of walking. Just maybe throw in some walking on a treadmill. Just walk a lot in your lifestyle. And in general, it's kind of important for good health. Like there's often that thing talking about like you need like to take like 5,000 or 10,000 steps a day or something like that for heart health, for just your general health. Yeah, I mean a lot of people say you have to like jog or whatever to be healthy, although that trend is kind of going away now. People are into like high intensity workouts now. And then there's the high intensity interval training. Now high intensity interval training, so my thoughts on high intensity interval training is it's the good thing is it can actually help for building muscle in some ways. can help you be more like more explosive on your lifts. And the important thing about, you know, that's good because that'll help you like squat and deadlift more weight and stuff, because you need a lot of power on those lifts. But I think it should be kept at a very minimal level, because if you do any more than like a few minutes of this cardio, you're really hindering your recovery, and you're not going to recover very well from your workouts. It's going to be a lot of fatigue and stress on your life. And if you already have like a job and kids and whatever, it's going to be really hard to do lifting weights, do that extra stress that high intensity interval bursts give you, and have your job and take care of your kids and do all that stuff that adults have to do and stuff. Or even if you're, you know, busy with school and stuff. So now that's basically my knowledge on my information on cardio. And I would say, I would not advise doing more than, I would not advise probably doing more than like an hour of cardio a week. That does not count the walking or whatever in your life, but like no more than an hour of high intensity interval training or high intensity steady state cardio a week. And I would also advise not doing cardio on weight training days. I don't care, even if you're training 6 days a week, I would still only do any cardio that one day a week, because it'll really hinder your recovery. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. And yeah, I'm gonna show a small little clip of me biking on my off day. Anyway, guys, that is the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have a question or comment, please leave it in the comments below, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, anyway, I'll be making another video in a couple days, hopefully. Hopefully I'm gonna probably make a workout video, because I've actually, my last video was not a workout video, and this was not a workout video, so I got like a whole journal of ideas. I think I'm probably gonna do like a deadlift video or something, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, you'll see me in the next video.